Hey guys, it's Aseem Sharma, training manager from Solframe Consulting. Again, I do hope you're all doing well. Today I'm going to reflect on some of the topics that I've previously covered, but my main focus today is going to be on what defines success. How do you be successful? Now, success for different people can mean different things. And whilst trying to be successful, we often sometimes get caught up in a web of confusion and maybe great expectations, as per the novel. I don't know. It can happen. First of all, try not to compare yourself to other people. If you want to be successful and you idolize someone, then try to look at what they did to be successful. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you replicate that. It just means that what was their approach, or what qualities do they have, or what skills did they develop, which perhaps put them into the public domain. Either they became famous for something, or they were able to harness their potential or exploit something in a good way, not in a bad way. So let's take a few examples. Let's say someone wants to become famous as a media personality, or maybe an actor or a singer or something like that. What their level of success may be, that may be defined by their popularity, how much they make, what kind of projects they get, who do they collaborate with, their networking. I mean, generally, we should all try to network where possible, and that's why you have platforms such as LinkedIn, right? So if you're trying to develop your career, then making contacts can be useful. Of course, try to make the correct contacts, and it can be difficult sometimes to know who is worth keeping in touch with and who can really help you. But there's no harm in being talkative and interacting with people. And now we have so many ways to do that, especially with remote working and so on. We can use obviously the internet, and we can use our smartphones and different devices to connect with people. So that's one thing. But then again, let's say you're working in an organization and you want to be promoted to a supervisory or managerial level. That title that's attached with that, and the responsibilities which come with that, that may be very different to, again, if you try to draw parallels with a different industry. So coming back to the example of an actor, arguably a famous actor, could earn a lot of money, but in one sense they're kind of junior if you think about it, because they're being directed by a director, they're following a producer's script. But a lot of people follow actors, a lot of people are fans of actors, people don't think these things. And you would have also noticed that a lot of famous actors then become directors, because that's how they progress in their career. And some people like to be on the ground level, some people like to do a little bit of everything, right? They don't want to just take a step back and see things passively, they want to do everything actively. But when it comes to, let's say, leading an organization, whether you are a manager or you are a head or you are an MD or a CEO, then yes, obviously your title or your status in that respect is superior. But then sometimes we need to go back to the drawing board and see, how did you get there, or how did that person achieve that, and what are their responsibilities, and what they should be aware of within their organization. I mean, I personally think that a good leader is someone who interacts with all levels of his or her organization, or the organization that they work on behalf of, and they're receptive, they're employee centric, and they know what their business does. I mean, let's say you are managing a food company. If you don't know what kind of products you make, and what kind of ingredients go into that, and what the current trends are, or what are the interests of the customers, then I don't think arguably you deserve to be leading that company, because you're disconnected. And I'm sure all of you guys would agree. And we have different kinds of leaders. We have lots of good leaders in the world who do that, but then there are some people who take a step back and do a lot of delegation. And delegating is fine, but then when you're not aware of things and you end up asking yourself the question that, actually, I'm not sure what we do. Do we do this? That's not a good sign. So coming back to how to be successful and defining that, unfortunately, we're right now in a situation where we're kind of applying that principle of, survival of the fittest. And in this in this instance, that's not a good thing. It's very disturbing to see what's happening around us. When it comes to, but if we try to apply that in an appropriate sense, when it comes to your career, then just think about it. So you want to make sure that when you're doing anything in a job, let's take a job as an example. Let's say that you provide customer service to customers. You want to make sure that you're good at doing that. So understand what the customer's needs are, their wishes, prioritize fulfilling their needs, and then their wishes if you can go a step ahead. Listen to them, active listening, I mentioned this before, empathize where necessary. Be competent in your product knowledge, know what your product is and how you can offer them either technical support or guidance, and get them involved in the decision-making process so that they feel that they're valued, okay, and they give you good feedback. If you're good at that, then you would also know then potentially how to lead a team of customer service agents, arguably, right? Because you would know what are the ingredients and what are the mechanisms to be able to deliver that. Now, when it comes to being a supervisor, apart from doing these things, how do you be a good leader? How do you manage different kinds of personalities? And again, I've mentioned this in my previous videos. How do you encourage people to perform better? How do you give them feedback? How do you gauge yourself? How do you be receptive to feedback from your juniors? How do you become a better person? How do you be approachable? And then when you take a step above that, let's say that you are the head of a process, then now you are leading other leaders who are leading other people. So you also need to be comfortable with the skip level approach, where yes, you would be having people who directly report to you, like team leaders, assistant managers, managers, senior managers even. But what about the people at the ground level? Maybe something that you were at some point. So, some retrospection, some introspection is always useful. Sometimes I would suggest, and I would love to do this as a leader, going back to the drawing board as I mentioned earlier and revising that. Look, okay, let me speak to a few customers. Let me make sure that I'm attuned with the current trends. Maybe things have changed. I need to keep my product knowledge up to date. I need to know what are the demands of the customers. Things change. I mean, let's say when smartphones came out just over a decade ago, screen size wasn't so much of an issue. It was more about the functionality. Now people are really into screen size, and now you have ridiculously large smartphones which arguably are hard to hold. Are companies always listening to the needs of every customer? I don't think so. We just have this blanket approach. And we've become so obsessed now with high quality cameras and processors and ridiculously large amounts of RAM which may not even be required. I mean, this is the trend. That's what I'm trying to say. So try to understand what your target audience is, who are you trying to fulfill the needs of, and take a reality check. That's what will make you successful as a leader. That's what will make you successful as a business. It's easy to preach, I know, and it's difficult. But these are the things. For me, what I've experienced in my life, if I share a few things, I think success to me means a few things that a lot of you can relate to. How resilient can you be when you fall down? And it's happened many times with me. How do you deal with different kinds of people, especially when they get on your nerves? That's very difficult, let me tell you, and I'm sure you can relate to that as well. When dealing with tricky situations and you have a few options, which option do you choose and why? Do you regret your decision afterwards? Can you make amends? Can you salvage or repair professional relationships which have broken? Are you able to innovate in times of adversity? Are you able to develop new skills and reinvent yourself, which is kind of similar thing, right? So if what you have been doing for a few years, that kind of sector or industry is kind of shrinking because of COVID or an economic crisis, then what skills do you have which are transferable, which enable you to work in a similar, affiliated, or maybe even completely different industry? Are you open to that change? So again, how resilient are you in a different aspect? These are the things I've learned, which arguably have kept me afloat, surviving. And even if you feel that you're surviving right now, and it's been a while, and yes, everyone wants success, everyone wants to earn more money. The fact that you are on a path which is meaningful, and that you are able to learn something new every day. Don't dwell on your past too much. Learn from your mistakes. If you're faced with the same situation again, don't be afraid to take risks. I think sometimes what we need to do, and again, I mentioned this in a previous video and an article as well posted on LinkedIn, that ask yourself, if you're not happy doing something, why is it? Is it just, excuse me, a temporary blip? Is it peer pressure? Do you feel that you want to be doing something else that other people want to be doing because it looks good? Or is it coming, instinctively? And having that balance between thinking with your head practically and also thinking with your heart. Sometimes I would say that it's better to risk things and say that, listen, there are times in life that I am in a comfort zone. I am arguably financially safe, but I'm not really happy with what I do. I'm not very inspired to do this. I have the aspiration to do X, Y, and Z. Maybe I should start pursuing that. And I should also be prepared for setbacks and teething issues, and I may have to start from scratch. If you're prepared to do these things later on to achieve something more meaningful, and then look back and say, hey, in hindsight, that was a great idea. That may be something you want to do. And there are a lot of successful people, if you watch motivational videos and so on, who've mentioned these things. Actors, famous people, motivational speakers, public speakers, politicians, if you can trust them. All sorts of people. So yeah, I think what I'm trying to get at here is observe what makes a difference. Don't be eager to please people. Come out of your comfort zone. Do take risks. Try to manage those risks and have a backup plan if possible. But if you don't, try to mitigate whatever comes your way. Be prepared to face the consequences. Don't shy away from challenges. And just remind yourself, maybe make a plan on a daily basis if you're comfortable. It doesn't need to be a big plan. Okay, this is what I plan to do today. I struggled with this yesterday. This didn't work. How else can I think to make this work? And within reason, anything is possible. Anything. And I just wonder that maybe a few years down the line, if I'm looking back at this video and thinking, Aseem, what did you have in your mind? And what did you become? And where are you now? I think that is something that I would like you guys to relate to as well. So think about what I've said. See where you see yourself in a few years' time. People ask this in interviews for a reason, And try to make the most of it. Setbacks are going to happen. Sometimes a lot of setbacks happen simultaneously with me, and that becomes hard. And sometimes a lot of good things happen at the same time, and then I think I'm not able to really appreciate everything individually because everything has happened at the same time, and I was kind of growing impatient. So by the time it happened, it didn't feel that great. It takes time to sink in. So that's also okay. You're a human being. Okay, you're not supposed to always act in a proper way. There will be times where you will feel certain things and it'll be instinctive. So don't block those instincts. Allow them to express, but in a professional setting, just be mindful of how you interact with other people, and try to tame yourself if you're going to blast off or explode, because some people have that habit, and it has happened with me in the past as well. So again, take it from me. Anyway, I've been speaking for almost 15 minutes. I do hope you found this useful. For further information, please do subscribe to this channel. If you have any comments or questions, please do mention them below. I'll try to answer them. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and now Telegram. Till next time, please do stay safe. Thank you very much. Do take care, and bye-bye.